At Evescape, we bring you stories of women who are truly in command of change. In today's conversation, we meet Dr. Lata Gowde, a marine biologist at the forefront of fight against climate change. From oceans and ecosystems to community-led conservation, her work carries both global impact and deep local roots in Goa. Recognized by Goa State Biodiversity Board and honored with national awards for her academic and environmental contributions, Dr. Lata joins us to speak about science, climate action, work life balance, and the realities of being a woman in STEM. This is her story.
Hello, Dr. Lata.
Hello,
Nice
ma'am.
meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
May I please ask you to introduce yourself?
So, I'm basically a marine microbiologist, and I started my journey from Goa University. I was a master student, microbiology student at Goa University. Then, after pursuing my masters, I got a job. I joined National Institute of Oceanography, and then I did my PhD. But it was like not in Goa. So that was a time when very rarely the Goans will move out of Goa, especially the student time where they just want to be in Goa with parents, with family, and for several reasons they like the Goa. I mean, Goans, you know, like how they are. So they are very much within Goa. So it was like a challenge. They asked me the position during the interview if I accept to go to the regional center in Vizag in Andhra Pradesh, and I was like, I didn't even think, like, there was no second thought. I was like, yes, I'm ready to go. It was just because of my research interest. I'm like, okay, yes, I can do, because there was a time back. I mean, when I was a school student, I still remember I was going there for some reason during the summer break, and when I saw the building, I'm like, the first thought came to me, I want to be here. So this is a place where I want to study and do research, though I didn't know much about it as a school kid, 7th standard. So that took me there, and I went to Vizag. It was tough, tough experience, because language was a barrier. I
Yeah,
mean, Telugu, I didn't know even single word of
Hmm.
Telugu, and they couldn't communicate with English because locals speak
Correct.
mostly Telugu. So initial few months it was a very tough time even to manage day-to-day things. But then, if determination is, I mean, very strong, where there is
Okay.
will, there
There
is
is a
a
way.
way. So that is how it followed, and rest is history. So then I registered slowly for PhD, and it was, I mean, I was fortunate enough to get a world-renowned scientist as my PhD guide.
Wow.
So yes, so that was a good opportunity. But then there were several, like, kind of, I don't say sacrifices. I mean, going there, leaving everything, and at an unknown place, nothing. I mean, I cannot even speak. And then within 6 months, I learned Telugu, and then everything
Wow.
was fine. So I could manage myself in the markets and for day-to-day things with the colleagues, the co-workers. So that was fine, and then I completed PhD over there. And soon after PhD, I got the opportunity to do my postdoc in Germany. So I went there. I mean, that was my first international exposure. So coming from a small village where we had no idea, I had no idea where I will be, just that goal, the aim that took me forward. So it was like, I don't know the path. I mean, I just know that aim. So there is something which
Correct.
I have to reach there. I have to achieve that. So I have to make my own path. So that's how it was. So, and with the grace of Almighty and the blessings of parents, so things were successful.
Dr. Lata, what inspired you to become a scientist?
I was in 7th standard, and I was visiting the institution like NIO, and I just heard that, oh, some scientist, there is a big ball over there. It's something for this wind and all thing that it measures. I don't know more details about it. So they used to tell, okay, something is going on there, and some scientists are working. So I could hear that several times from some locals, like, and then it was like, okay, when I went there, first thought came to me, I want to be here. So I want to do something like science and some research. What is that? And moreover, like during my childhood, I mean, when I was a primary school kid, so I heard several stories about the scientists. And in my school, one of the village, I mean the school teacher, he used to come, and once in a year he used to come with those small films.
Okay.
Yeah, so at that time, I mean, there were no like nowadays technology.
Mm.
So he used to put that in some kind of the lighting source and on the that white wall, and he used to show us like, okay, this is Taj Mahal. It was all about like India's like monuments. So he used to tell, okay, this is Taj Mahal, this is the significance, this is Qutub Minar, this is the significance, this is the India Gate, and he used to explain all those things. And at the end, he used to sing a song. I mean, he used to tell us to sing a song, which was very meaningful. It was telling about the whole country, like how our national anthem, like that. It was telling lot of things describing the country as such.
Okay.
So that was one of the inspiration. I mean, that's how the patriotism
Okay.
actually started. Like, and then when I came to like 4th, 5th standard, so I was fortunate enough to get, I mean, to listen such stories like Thomas Alva Edison and Albert Einstein and George Washington. I mean, each story had some moral. At the end of the story, there will be some moral, and then some life lessons.
I would want you to tell our viewers as to how, when you thought about this field and wanted to achieve something and be a scientist, how did your family support or see through all this?
It comes from my childhood. My mother, my father, even my grandma, and mine was
Okay.
joint family.
Okay.
All my uncles, aunts, everybody together. I mean, it's like a really good family. Everybody supporting each other, looking after each other. So when I was small, I think 7 years, I lost my mother, and my father was like, okay, supportive, and he was an educated person. I mean, he did his. I feel always proud about him. So he did his education in Portuguese degrees. That time there were no schools,
Yes,
it
right.
seems. So they used to go. There was only that's what I heard from my father. There was only one school in Martol somewhere.
Okay.
So they used to walk, and then so he knew about education. My mother didn't know anything, so she was not educated as such. But then her the values of the life, the ethics were very strong.
Very strong.
She will imbibe. I mean, she will tell, no telling lies, just be honest. I mean, very strong. She was a very strict mother. Okay, so those values, though I couldn't, there was not much time to spend, or I was not of that level to understand the things, because
Yes.
7-year kid
Yeah,
is just a
right.
kid, like. So after that, whole family support, my grandma, my aunts, they all looked after, they supported. But then, like sometimes you feel that, I
Correct.
mean, you miss that
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
at certain time.
Right.
But then for me, it was like, okay, focus on the studies. Something I had to do, focus on the studies. But my father, he always supported, and he was like, he never said, okay, because he knew the value of education. So it was all his support, and he was the inspiration. So that's how I went ahead. And then at certain time, there were some difficulties. I mean, things were not so easy. There were some difficulties, and I really appreciate even the village people. That's how I say this village has given me lots. So when there were time where even my father couldn't do anything, there people came ahead. Came forward to, okay, let's do something and we'll help her, because she's like enthusiast, education enthusiast. So they helped a lot, and sometimes like I had to take higher studies, some kind of loan and all. So that is how I did. But then family support, I think in this education field, the family support, understanding is very, very important. And my father always did that. He was always positive about my education. Even my aunt, who was looking after us, she used to tell me, okay, you want to study, you study, we will support, we will help. So that's how, when you have the family backing support,
Yes.
things become a little easier.
Easier.
So, and it helps you to focus also
Focus,
on your
right.
aim on education. So that's how it was. And even my brother, my younger brother, and also they were, I say like they were like a pillar. And even my father, they were the great, and he was recently he passed. That's how I came down. So he was a great, pillar of support and strength for me. for his daughter. And always when I achieved all this, he was the most proudest father. I mean, always talking about his daughter. Oh, my daughter is this, my daughter has done this. And coming from the village where people, I mean, doesn't know much about the
Naturally.
education, and reaching to this global level in global platform,
Correct.
whatever it is today. So all the credit to my father, my parents, family, and also to village people, because it's like, it's not a one person's job. So everybody came together and everybody has their share for
Share
my
of.
success, and I appreciate that.
So, Dr. Lata, what do you think is a barrier for women, especially in this in the field of STEM?
Barrier as such, sometimes see, like, once, even till like PhD. I mean, this is what my thought is. Even till when it comes to PhD, when they are not married and all, okay, they manage. Once they get, I mean, the family responsibilities, kids and all, somehow know that pace, I mean, the speed a little bit decreases. So that's how I say, like, family support is very important. So, and then also there are a lot of several factors as per whatever I have seen. Support is important. Then see, if you have to go ahead, no, I mean, you need a position, you need good funding, and I think there should be also some, equal opportunities for the ladies or for the women, so that they prosper, um, like same like men. So I think some policy makers or the shift should also consider that they get some. I know, I think now recent time there is from DST that okay, women can go up to even 55, also take break and then start continue again. So that kind of funding support, even from like not only from the family side but from the government or the policy makers, funding agencies, they should also make little I mean changes to their policies to encourage and to support women, to bring more percentage of women in STEM or science.
Dr. Lata, I want viewers to know about so many prestigious awards that you have won. So please tell us about that.
Yeah. So I'm thankful. It's with God's grace. I mean, I should say thanks. I mean, thankful to Almighty and all the inspiration from my parents, family. So beyond all this, behind all these awards, I achieved few. Like, I mean, from one is from like Goa State Biodiversity Board, Special Appreciation Award for
I think that
biodiversity
was
conservation
in
2022.
2022. Yes.
Yeah, it is through Goa government, and that is for the community-based project that mussels. You can see the behind there, the rafts are there. So it is like for biodiversity conservation. I mean, these were like traditional methods, but then which were slowly diminishing. Lack of good scientific backup or good scientific techniques that was missing, and then you know that it's vanishing, the mussels and all. So we started to rebuild that, and then now in different villages people are taking up through our the initiation. So that award was for that. But then
you have so many international awards.
It's not only this award is very close to my heart from the Goa State Biodiversity Board, because it's not only like individual achievement, not for the individual, but it is the award for the whole community, or the whole village, all the women group that who are involved in this project. It is for them, not for the individual. So I owe it to them. Yes. So that is one. And then again, this was a big achievement again from the FIFA World Cup, under 17 FIFA Football World Cup, Women's World Cup. So they recognized this work, and I was chosen, I was selected for that award. And then I was called in Delhi. So there were only across the country 5 exemplary women were selected for that award. Yeah. So it was a great achievement. Again, not for me, it is everybody's, for the whole community, the village women group. So they gave us the first tickets of the World Cup. I mean, the Central Sports Minister and several dignitaries were there. So they presented us, and 5 of us from different states, we were there. So that
did
was,
you attend the
Yes, I was in Delhi. I was invited. So I went there. I got it through the sports minister, all the first tickets. And then in Goa and Patoda Stadium, I also attended the match.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
football match. It was Germany and several other
Okay.
countries.
Okay.
So it was great.
Yes.
So again, the community based, all for them. Then I have not only the awards but some recognitions
Yes.
and several. I have been successful in getting several travel grants and traveling around the world.
Right.
Yes. So the best one was when I got selected for the Ocean Science meeting in the US
Yes.
in 2020. So that was a very prestigious,
Mm.
among top 5% globally.
Okay.
I was selected. So, and I was given the opportunity. They covered my whole expenses, the travel and everything, and to present my work.
Okay.
And I presented my work. So that was done from the Mandavi estuary,
Okay.
where the first time this phytoplankton bloom
Mhm.
was observed, Noctiluca scintillans.
Okay.
So that was the first report, and then I presented it over there. So that was one of the biggest. So, and then I became a member of several international scientific bodies,
Okay.
like American Geophysical Union, then ICSA, Estuarine Science, Coastal Association, and then Microbiology Society of India. And recently, this last year, 2025, I have been awarded the Senior Scientist Award
Wow.
by Microbiology Society of India. And before that, Pradnya Shakti Puraskar, which
I
is
heard about that.
you
Right.
know it's a
Yeah,
big
it's a
thing
national
among-
award, right?
Yes, of Viva.
Okay.
Vignan Bharati.
Yes, yes.
It's a wing of Vignan Bharati
yeah,
in Goa state. So that was another prestigious thing. But it's more of like for the community based work.
Correct.
So it's like sometimes I felt that when you do something without any expectation, selfless thing, just keeping in somebody's progress in mind, or you want to bring the women forefront or help or some kind of good thing without your own gain.
Correct.
So that gets noted somewhere, and the
Selfless.
things come back to you in positive way, the way these awards come, and it is all for the people who are involved in that. So, and travel grants were many, and the most another one prestigious, I was nominated as a AGU council member. So AGU is American Geophysical Union, the world's largest scientific body and one of the most prestigious.
Okay.
So getting nominated itself is a big
huge thing.
Doing my research only now. So there was a call from NCPR, National Center for Polar and Ocean Research. So successfully I got that. आणि मागीर हांव एक म्हयनो आर्टिक पोलर नॉर्थ पोल आसा पळय म्हळ्यार इट वॉज लायक अ अमेझींग एक्सपिरियन्स की you are born on this planet and you get the opportunity to explore like extreme poles, but exploring some point or the north pole or the south pole is like different
and only a few people get the opportunity.
Only the scientists.
Correct.
Yeah, they were allowed. I mean, they get that small jet and they go. So it's really nice, and it was so cold with all those cold clothes. So 1 month and India has a station there.
Okay.
So I think only 8 scientists can be accommodated. Yeah, in that station.
Dr. Lata, if I may ask, I think you put how many hours of work in a day?
Ma'am, there is no count as such. So sometimes the day starts between 4 to 5 a.m. and then maybe initially, like if I start at 4 o'clock, so 2 hours, like 4 to 6, goes in some very important that needs some attention, like writing or the manuscript or the proposals, project proposals, or preparation of the lecture. So first 2 hours goes into that, and then from 6 to 8 it's like preparation, the breakfast, other responsibilities, and then by 8:15 I start for the office.
So you're able to strike a balance between your professional and family life?
Yeah, but then again the day ends maybe like 12 in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning. So I think sometimes it can go like 12 hours, 15 hours. It depends.
And you're a mother to a
Yes.
son. What age is he?
He is now 10. Yeah.
Okay. So how does he cope up with your hectic schedule?
Ma'am, it's very interesting. So what happened is, like when he was small, so I was in NIO. So he was in a daycare. So I kept him in daycare. So it was within the campus. So morning I used to keep everything ready for him. Afternoon the vehicle used to drop him. Then they will feed and then he will do some studies. Evening 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock I used to collect him. Sometimes what happened, like I had to do some experiment and all. So I will take him from the daycare and he will sit with me in the lab. So he knows what I am doing. He is familiar with my work and he knows the colleagues in the office. And
Okay.
I mean, he was completely into like kind of my work. So he knows what I am doing.
So I believe he's in the US now.
Yes.
So he's studying there.
Yeah, he's doing his because I got this very
Yes.
prestigious
Yeah.
fellowship.
Yeah.
So I
you
took
need to
him.
be there.
I took him with me,
Mm.
and then because suddenly I had to come back,
Yeah.
and his academic was
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
So I don't wanted to disturb it.
Mhm.
So he will be back once the academic is over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's developed a scientific temperament like
Yes,
you.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's nice.
He likes,
That's nice.
and in fact, oh, I didn't mention to you,
Yeah.
he was a part of 2 of the conferences. One of the AGU,
Okay.
and he spoke. He was an 8 years kid.
Okay.
Okay, and he spoke about the oceans, how to save our ocean and earth.
Wow.
I still have that his talk,
Okay.
and it was really, I mean, I didn't tell him. I just gave him some rough idea. Are you? I mean, do you want
Yeah.
to speak? And he's like, yes, I will.
So now,
And
lastly,
then-
I want to know, the most important thing I have kept for the last, that is climate change. So your microbiology is with climate change.
Yes.
Okay, so just tell us about that, because that's a very important
Yes,
topic
a
to
burning
be
topic.
discussed. Yes.
So climate change is now like need of an hour
Correct.
to study,
Yes.
and everyone, not only scientists or professors, but even the common man
Mhm.
should know about climate change,
Mhm.
what it is, and what we need to do, because it's not just at global
Right.
level. The climate change, the thought, the understanding, it starts from the village,
Correct.
the community level to higher, I mean the global scale. So it should start at the ground level. Say suppose now these communities, if we tell them, okay, how to, I mean, why do we need to plant more trees? Otherwise, we see in Goa now the monsoon pattern has completely changed.
Changed.
So there are several factors
Hmm.
that are responsible for
for
the
this
climate change thing. So I think the awareness, understanding should start from the ground level.
Ground.
I mean the root level, grassroots level. So where community should be involved, even the kids, they should be given awareness what it is and how they should be ready, future ready, and what mitigation strategies they can come up with or think of. That should begin
Correct.
even for the kids or like common man.
Yes.
Yeah, so for me the climate change started much later because I'm a marine
Yeah.
microbiologist. So what I thought when I was doing PhD, that's how it started.
Okay.
When I was doing PhD, my PhD is on understanding the microbial role, the bacterial role in carbon modification. So what happens is, like when there is a monsoon, my study area was in east coast, Godavari in Andhra,
Okay.
and Bay of Bengal, coastal Bay of Bengal. So when there is a monsoon pattern, I mean there was a dam, Dhauleshwaram. So as soon as the monsoon intensity increases, so the dam, it reaches that 14 centimeter level, 14 meters level. So they release the water.
Okay.
So as soon as they release, everything flushes out over there. So based on the monsoon intensity, the water, I mean the turbidity, everything changes, and that changes the organic carbon, organic matter, the nature, sources, everything changes. So, and this organic matter is modified by the microbes, and bacteria are the first one. So how this changing intensity of monsoon changes the source and nature of organic carbon, and that changes the microbial role, microbial modification. So that was my, and then what is their contribution for PCO2, CO2.
Yes.
So because bacteria, what happens is, like microbe is there, they eat a carbon, I mean whatever they uptake, the dissolve. So some part goes into their body mass cell, and some part is respired. Same like us, we are heterotrophs. They are also heterotrophs. Use the organic matter and then to make our body mass, body cells, and some part we respire. So same way like bacteria. So when they respire CO2, like us. So what is their contribution to the CO2? We measure it in terms of the partial pressure of carbon dioxide. So what is their contribution? So everything is connected. So here, I mean the microbes, one cannot study only microbes and connect to the climate change. It should be interdisciplinary. That is what we call the biogeochemistry. And that's what I say. I was fortunate enough to join that scientist as my mentor,
Correct.
PhD mentor, who was a biogeochemist. He is a renowned scientist, global renowned scientist, and he was in Japan somewhere doing the postdoc, and he had come back, and that time I could register with him. So I got the opportunity to interdisciplinary study, I mean, all the aspect, not only the bacteria. So just by studying bacteria, what I'll know, when I connect it, how much carbon they use, how much it comes, monsoon, everything I connect, that is how the interdisciplinary study should be, and that gives you the bigger picture. So that's how the study should be. And then what I did, when it comes to PCO2 or CO2, so that connects you to the climate thing, like, because atmospheric CO2, and now the oceans, they are the biggest natural reservoirs or system for CO2 absorption. So there, all these microbes, they, because see, it is not just water that takes it.
Correct.
That is some physical process,
Yes.
that it gets dissolved in the water. But the main drivers are like biology, and the microbes, the phytoplanktons, they are the ones
want to
who
absorb it.
utilize and then run the process and the system. So understanding them is very important. So that's how the
Journey
step into the climate change studies, it started from there.
So, Dr. Lata, in itself, you are such a huge inspiration. But I would want you to tell sort of an advice to our young girls who want to pursue a career in this field. What would you like to tell them?
Always think high, keep your dreams high, and when you dream, as Abdul Kalam, our former president, says, that every youngster, every person should dream and work towards those
Fulfilling
dreams,
that dream.
to fulfilling those
Yes.
dreams. If you read The Wings of Fire, so these are like quotes. So it's in the same line, I would say we should dream big and then be after those dreams. Keep
To
your
chase
perseverance.
those dreams.
Yes, chase those dreams, keep the perseverance. You get failures. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing is easy, nothing happens overnight. You may get failures, you may be upset, but don't give up. Keep the perseverance and try hard, and you will achieve the success.
And in most cases, failure are the
Yes, they are the
stepping stone
stepping
to
stones.
success. So, thank you, Dr. Lata. It was wonderful to have you.
Thank you, ma'am. I only wish that it inspires the young girls or the women or overall as such. So if that happens, and if I could be of little bit of inspiration, that's the biggest achievement and success and satisfaction for me.
Thank you
Thank you so much, ma'am.